Hi, I'm Lukas Jennings from the Middle Country Public Library, and I'd like to welcome you to another episode in our History Bites series. Today, we will discuss a symbol of American liberty and freedom, and a gift from France, the Statue of Liberty. Around 1865, as the American Civil War drew to a close, the French historian Édouard de La Boulaye proposed that France create a statue to give to the United States in celebration of that nation's success in building a viable democracy. The sculptor Frédéric Auguste Bartholdi, known for large-scale sculptures, earned the commission. The goal was to design the sculpture in time for the centennial of the Declaration of Independence in 1876. The project would be a joint effort between the two countries and a symbol of the friendship between their peoples. The French people were responsible for the statue and its assembly, while the Americans would build the pedestal on which it would stand. Due to the need to raise funds for the statue, work on the sculpture did not begin until 1875. While Bartholdi was designing the statue, he also took a trip to the United States in 1871. During the trip, Bartholdi selected Bedloe's Island as the site for the statue. Although the island was small, it was visible to every ship entering New York Harbor, which Bartholdi viewed as the gateway to America. Bartholdi's massive creation, titled Statue of Liberty Enlightening the World, depicted a woman holding a torch in her raised right hand and a tablet in her left, upon which was engraved July 4th, 1776, the adoption date of the Declaration of Independence. Bartholdi, who was said to have modeled the woman's face after that of his mother, hammered large copper sheets to create the statue's skin, using a technique called repoussé. To create the skeleton on which the skin would be assembled, he called on Alexandre Gustav Eiffel, designer of the Paris Eiffel Tower. Eiffel built a skeleton out of iron pylon and steel that allowed the copper skin to move independently, a necessary condition for the strong winds it would endure in the chosen location of New York Harbor. The arm holding the torch was completed in 1876 and shown at the Centennial Exposition in Philadelphia. The head and shoulders were completed in 1878 and displayed at the Paris Universal Exposition. The entire statue was completed and assembled in Paris between 1881 and 1884. On August 5th, 1884, amid plenty of pomp and circumstance, a 6-ton piece of Beatty's Connecticut granite was laid as the cornerstone for the Statue of Liberty's pedestal. After the statue was presented to Levi P. Morton, the U.S. Minister to France, on July 4, 1884 in Paris, it was disassembled and shipped to the United States aboard the French Navy ship Isère. Fundraising efforts continued in the United States for the pedestal, including contests, benefits, and exhibitions. Near the end, the leading New York newspaperman, Joseph Pulitzer, used his paper, The World, to raise the last necessary funds. Designed by the American architect Richard Morris Hunt, the statue's pedestal was constructed inside the courtyard of Fort Wood, a fortress built for the War of 1812, and located on Bedloe's Island, off the southern tip of Manhattan in Upper New York Bay. The disassembled Statue of Liberty was packed in more than 200 crates and shipped to New York. It arrived in the New York Harbor on June 17, 1885, and was met with great fanfare. The process of reassembling the statue began in earnest. The first piece of the statue to be reconstructed was Alexandre Gustave Eiffel's iron framework. The rest of the statue's elements followed, without the use of scaffolding. All construction materials were hoisted up by steam-driven cranes and derricks. Eiffel used the technique known as repoussé, which was the molding of lightweight copper sheets by hammering them onto the statue's hollowed wooden framework. The last section to be completed was the Statue of Liberty's face, which remained veiled until the statue's dedication. Although Fort Wood remained on Bedloe's Island, it was not an obstacle in the design, construction, or reassembly of the Statue of Liberty. Instead, the star-shaped structure became a part of the statue's base. The pedestal sits within its walls. Its height reached 305 feet, including the pedestal. On October 28, 1886, the Statue of Liberty Enlightening the World was officially unveiled, and President Grover Cleveland officially dedicated the Statue of Liberty. The day's wet and foggy weather did not stop some 1 million New Yorkers from turning out to cheer for the statue. Parades on land and sea honored the statue, while flags and music filled the air, and the official dedication took place beneath the Colossus, glistening with rain. When it was time for Bartholdi to release the tricolor French flag that veiled Liberty's face, a roar of guns, whistles, and applause sounded. In 1892, the U.S. government opened a federal immigration station on Ellis Island, located near Bedloe's Island in Upper New York Bay. Between 1892 and 1954, some 12 million immigrants were processed on Ellis Island before receiving permission to enter the United States. From 1900 to 1914, during the peak years of its operation, some 5,000 to 10,000 people passed through every day. Looming above New York Harbor nearby, the Statue of Liberty provided a majestic welcome to those passing through Ellis Island. On a plaque at the entrance to the statue's pedestal is engraved a sonnet called The New Colossus, written in 1883 by Emma Lazarus as a part of the fundraising contest. Its most famous passage speaks to the statue's role as a welcoming symbol of freedom and democracy for the millions of immigrants who came to America seeking a new and better life. Give me your tired, your poor, your huddled masses yearning to breathe free, the wretched refuse of your teeming shore. Send these, the homeless, tempest-tossed to me. I lift my lamp beside the golden door. By the early 20th century, the oxidation of the Statue of Liberty's copper skin through exposure to rain, wind, and sun had given the statue a distinctive green color known as verdigris. In 1984, the statue was closed to the public and underwent a massive restoration in time for its centennial celebration. Even as the restoration began, the United Nations designated the Statue of Liberty as a World Heritage Site. On July 5, 1986, the Statue of Liberty reopened to the public in a centennial celebration. After the terrorist attacks of September 11, 2001, Liberty Island closed for 100 days. The Statue of Liberty itself was not reopened to visitor access until August 2004. In July 2009, the statue's crown was again reopened to the public. I'd like to thank you all for joining us for today's episode. If you enjoyed it, click like, and if you watched on YouTube, hit subscribe. Thanks so much, and we'll see you all next time.